Nice to see you this morning. It's a happy day, isn't it? Yeah, happy day. It's happy because it's your first communion. Yeah, it's happy too for me because it just happens, your first communion happens to fall on this day in which you heard the gospel about the vine and the branches. Because I think you might be able to help us with that gospel. Do you think? Maybe? So how about if I think I have enough, one of these. Can you step forward and grab that, Adrian? Thank you. Bella, there you go. And Raylin, there you go. Good. So vine and the branches, what do you have in your hands? You have a rose? What can you tell me about that rose? How would you describe that rose to me? Red? Good. What else? What's red? The flower part. Good. Okay. It has thorns on it. Okay, so don't push your finger into it, right? We can't do that. I didn't plan for that possibility. Okay. What else? Can you tell me anything else about it? Green leaves? Green leaves? Good. Anything else? Oh, there's a little thing on the bottom? Yeah, don't take that off. Don't push your thumb on the thorn. Okay, that's number one rule. Number two is don't take that thing off, otherwise, what's in there? Water. Why is there water in there? Okay, so it can keep the plant alive. That's what Kate says. Is that right? Do you think? Plants need water? Yeah. They also need sun. That's right. Now, is there a whole lot of water in there? Not too much. So what might you have to do? You fill it up? You think so? Now, if you filled it up before it ever got empty, would that rose stay alive? Ooh. Do you think? You think it would stay alive? Maybe. Maybe. Is that rose alive right now? Kind of, right? It's kind of, but is it living? Or might we say, is it dying? It looks alive, doesn't it? It's pretty, red, green. It needs the water, but we just figured out water is not enough. It also needs sunlight. What else does it need? Good, Diego. It needs soil, doesn't it? But I bet if you took that rose home and put it into the soil and kept it nice and moist, would it live? You think so? Okay, so I want you to experiment with that for me, okay? I want you to take it home and I want you to do that. That will help you see what Jesus was saying. If you cut a branch off the vine, like a grapevine, if you cut a branch off a tree, if you cut a rose off the rose bush, what's going to happen to all those things, Bella? Probably not be very pretty for very long. Do you think? It's kind of deceptive. It almost looks like, whoa, it's no problem being away from the vine, being away from the rose bush. It looks like you're alive. But what's actually going on in there? It's beginning to shrivel and die. Because it's apart from what it needs to have life, to be living. Do you see it? It's a little tricky. It looks like it's good, but it's not so good. It kind of looks like it's handier. You want a rose at home? You want a rose in your room? This looks like it's easier than having a rose bush in your room, don't you think? Yeah, it looks like you're a little bit freer just to snip it off and take it with you. But then what do you find after you do that? Wait a second, that's not so free for that rose. It was more alive, freer when it was attached to the rose bush. Do you see it? Jesus is saying in that gospel, like you have figured out with these roses and the bush and the branch, and the tree, that unless you stay united with me, you're going to begin to shrivel. It looks like you're fine, and you might go for a year, 2 years, but he's saying eventually what's going to happen? You're going to shrivel like that rose shrivels. To be alive, he's saying, you've got to be with me. You see it? Friends, remain faithful to the vine. Without Jesus, we can do nothing. We can be nothing. We can achieve nothing substantial. Parents, grandparents, this is why I return again and again to Mass and the Catholic way of life, encouraging and even sometimes admonishing. Jesus is making a metaphysical statement with his vine and branch analogy. He's making the statement at a natural level of existence. Without me, you can simply not exist. But he's also making it at the supernatural level, which we celebrate in a special way today for these first communicants. Unless you eat my body and drink my blood, you do not have life within you. But he's also making it at another level, a humanistic level, if you will. He's indicating without this integral connection with the source of your humanity, my humanity, and the pattern of a human being fully alive, without the integral connection, your life, your child's life, will be less human, less fulfilling, and more susceptible to all the lies about human beings with which your children are daily inundated from things out there and in here. They are so much greater than what they're being fed in here, in their phones, but not in here. Parents, your first responsibility is to witness to this transcendent dimension of the human person, from which flows your child's identity, their sense of purpose, their self-worth, their ability to discern their own calling and life, and to discern all the lies that distort who they are. Instill this way of life in your children as early as possible so it becomes instinctual to them. Make your witness credible. Demonstrate that remaining on the vine is so essential to their humanity and to yours that it's even worth risking venturing out to Mass during a pandemic. Because it's especially here where we encounter the source and goal of that special, invisible part of us that makes us human, that makes us equal, and that can make for a more human world. Take to heart these words of John Paul II that he uttered when he returned to Soviet-occupied Poland, first trip as Pope. He said to the people, "The future of Poland will depend on how many people are mature enough to be nonconformist." The future of the United States is right there. The future of the United States depends on how many people are mature spiritually enough to be nonconformist, to witness to them in your lives where truth is to be found. Remain in Christ. Do all that you can to mature. Disperse the lies about our humanity and bear much fruit. Kids, today you take an amazing step forward. You are saying that there is a world beyond what you can see and touch and taste. Just like there is something to each of you that is beyond your ability to see, touch, taste, if you will. Don't do that too often. You're saying that there's something in me that's invisible, that transcends, goes beyond this world, and needs him even more than those roses need that bush. What you're doing today is beautiful. Live into what you're doing all the days of your lives.